Okay, welcome everybody to the channel. As you know, it is Friday. So obviously it's Photoshop Friday, people. We're here with another installment. Welcome. We made it another week of uploading every single day. This is an accomplishment, and if you've been here through every step of the way, give yourself a round of applause. But nonetheless, if you've been tuning into the videos and you're not subscribed, make a YouTube account and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel, and it really helps me see the channel grow more, and it gives me more motivation to make videos every single day. Also, it updates you guys when I post new videos, and you can turn notifications on and they'll show up in your subscription box and all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get into Photoshop Friday. Okay, everybody, we are in Photoshop now. We're going to be learning about the Layers tab today. Now, the Layers tab is extremely important because without the Layers tab, you wouldn't be able to make the intricate stuff that you make in Photoshop. And I'll kind of show some examples here now. I'm going to show you a basic, brief description of how to use the Layers tab. So as you can see over here to the right, you have layer 1. Now to add more layers is this little box with the plus sign inside of it. And as you can see, you can add, pretty much as many layers as you would like. Now you can rename these layers by just double clicking on that layer. Now to show you guys a basic description of how layers work, we're going to use this paintbrush and we're just going to make a little yellow circle here with our paintbrush. Now we're going to make another layer, so layer 2 on top of layer 1. We're going to change the color of our paintbrush to red, and we're going to make another circle over here. Now as you can see, the red circle is on top of the yellow circle. And as you can see on the Layers tab over here, the red circle is above the yellow circle. Now, if we flip-flop these two, and we put layer 2 under layer 1, then the yellow circle will now be on top of the red circle. And that is the most bare bones way to explain the Layer tab. Now, you can also not view a certain layer if you don't want to. So if you see this little eye icon over here, if you click that, it'll make that layer disappear, obviously, until you re-click it and make it reappear. So each layer is separate from one another. And if you don't want to see the yellow circle at the moment, you can choose to make that disappear. If you don't want to see the red circle for a moment, you can make that disappear. Now you can do this with a million other layers. If the possibilities are endless. You can keep drawing with other circles, yada, yada, yada. All right, now as you can see, there is more down here at the bottom than just your Add Layer tab. There's a couple other options that you have. Now the first one you're going to learn is your Group tab. So this is how your Group tab works. So let's say, for instance, we're making a smiley face. So here we have our base of our smiley face, right? So that's layer 1. We're going to make another layer. We're going to change our color of our paintbrush to black. Make this smaller. We're going to make our eyes. Make a new layer. And then we're going to make our smiley face here. So as you can see, we have 3 layers. We have our base face, and then we have our eyes, and then we have our smile. Now, normally you would probably want to rename these like head, eyes, mouth, but we don't have to do that right now. But to group these things together, because most likely you're going to have other layers to make your background and different things, you want to keep things organized. You want to keep things easy to see when you look over at the Layer tab. So you're going to select them. So you're going to click on layer 3 here, hold Shift, click on layer 1, and that selects all these layers. And then once all these are selected, you're simply just going to click the Group tab down here, and that makes your group 1. And then we can just rename that and say Face, and then you can open this and see all your layers. You can close this to not see all your layers, and they're all grouped up in that nice organized folder. Now moving on from that, now we have a red rectangle here, as you can see. Now if you come down here and you see this FX tab here, if you click on it, you'll see all these different options. Now you can also open this option by double clicking on your layer, and then this will pop up right here. And once again, you have all those options. Now you can kind of mess around with these options by yourself. There's a lot to go through in this video, but some basic ones, drop shadow, you can add a drop shadow, bevel emboss, you can make it kind of like more of a 3D effect. You can add strokes, inner shadows, all that fun stuff. A lot of stuff that you can really kind of tinker with and mess around with. All right, so now we're going to go over our adjustments tabs. So your adjustments are down here. It's this little half circle here. And you can also access your adjustments at the top here as well. So let's just say, for instance, just like the other tab, there's a lot of options for you to pick, but we're just going to pick brightness and contrast, and then this little separate layer will show up. Now, obviously, you can toy with your brightness and your contrast, and it'll make it brighter, darker, and same with the contrast, it'll do the same exact thing. But as you can see, now let's just say we only want to move up the brightness on this image, and we want to keep this image the same. Obviously, if we boost up the brightness, it's doing it to both images. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is make a clipping mask. Now, a clipping mask basically attaches whatever you're clipping to your image. That makes it only work with that image. So since we only want the brightness to be with this image, we need to make sure our brightness contrast is above the selection that we want. Right click on it and create clipping mask. And as you can see, you're going to see a little arrow pointing down, which means that it only works for this image. Now, when we push up the brightness, as you can see, it's only brightening this image and not this one. Now, if we want to do the same with the other image, we just pull this down and make it to this image instead. Now, last but certainly not least in the layers menu will be our masking tab here. Now, masking gets a lot more complicated than what I'm about to show you, but I'm just going to show you the basics for now because it is in the layers menu. So as you can see, you see this little square with the black eclipse in it. You're going to want to click that, and then it's automatically going to make another layer attached in the same layer. So now we're going to want to, first off, just to kind of show you guys what it is, I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool, and you have to make sure that your colors down here are on white or black. So if you want to take things away from an image, you got to make sure your white box here is selected and make sure your color is on black. And as you can see, it takes away, whatever you're selecting in the image. So it's taking away that part of the image. Now, if you want to bring these things back, you change your color to white, and then white replaces everything in that image. So that's just like a very brief description of the masking capabilities in Photoshop. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I know it was a very simple description, but Photoshop can be very overwhelming. So I just want to give a short, brief description of different things every single week to kind of give you guys a start and a grasp on Photoshop. So thank you guys for watching. As usual, there will be a new video tomorrow. We're uploading every single day. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe.